Why I will not sell our undeveloped parcel. Our house in the Adirondacks has a small parcel next to it, and we're not going to cultivate it or develop it or put anything on it. I promised myself I would operate my own camp lollygag, offer the frog shrilling himself into a frenzy from the creek, his entire body a jangling trumpet, a 24/7 concert space in which to sing. I promised the skunks a place to freely stink. I promised certain fur-bearing citizens, i.e. a consortium of possums, easements in perpetuity through the weedy boulevards to the creek, and committed to long-term housing for the skeptics, the chattering class of the underbrush, the skittish field mice, recalcitrant porcupines, sharp-tongued pheasant hens. I promised wild turkeys a private event space for their meetings in the bushes. They have crucial business to discuss, clucking and fussing, feathers flying up to the trees. I promised protection to the proud, newly antlered deer, a dojo to practice the four dignities, contentment, joy, wisdom, and outrageousness. I promised our weekend guests a place to tramp, to trip on knotted weeds, to sink and slick to their ankles, to get lost, to embargo goal setting. What needs to rot, I say, can rot. I promised the moon a pack of enamored serenading coyotes. I promised the sun a slice of non-revenue producing insouciant soil on which to shine. Thank you. In our house, we have an attic, which living in Brooklyn since 1982, I haven't seen in a long time. This poem talks about Dame Julian, and in case you don't know, it references Julian of Norwich. She was an English mystic of the 1300s and 1400s, and was author, it's believed to be of the first earliest surviving work of literature in English by a woman. To my attic. In your dreamy emptiness, a sketch of a room, a half-finished rec room or study or unfinished business, a forgotten room, rough pine beams and plastic taped over the windows, spiders spinning in the eaves. In the corner, mouse scat like cairns marking a trail to a secret encampment behind the walls. I would be your lone sailor, sailing the circumference to find what I've never charted. I would be your anchorite, silent for unbroken hours, as I've always wanted, like Dame Julian, who perceived the power of God and an acorn on the floor, when, alone in her cottage, she finally gave herself nothing else to look at. I want to thank, by the way, my husband Peter for being a very trusted and patient reader of poetry. Eating sadness. These days, I'm a connoisseur of sadness. Sometimes only the drama, the heat of pan-seared sadness will do. A vinegary crust mixed with spite, bitter herbs, hiding a surprisingly moist filling, a caper-studded tender sadness. I always recommend a fresh, locally grown sadness, nothing tinned or flown in. My broiled entrees, marinated in a whisked sauce of light self-scrutiny, brushed with hindsight, and garnished with butter rosettes of regret are delicious. In eating so much sadness, I was betrayed. The rupture, the lesion, still corrupts my heart. I find that without a mélange of seasoning, a little caraway, a little rue, a little shake of sassafras, a flick of paprika, a little fantasy involving knives and murder, the blood, the begging, the shrieking, my dinner-sized servings of sadness quickly become bland. And the sleek stylishness of my sadness, Julienne, would absolutely bowl you over. When I'm furling, working it in my kitchen, I'm Gloria, I'm Donna Summer, I'm finger on the trigger. Who wouldn't admire my flouncy, snappy cut strips of dancing sadness. Thank you. The next poem is titled Meadow Gospel. In the back of our house next to the state forest, there's a kind of messy field that for the next couple years I'm going to be working with someone to turn into a wildflower meadow. And I'm really excited about this. So this poem is titled Meadow Gospel. I came to believe that a meadow greater than myself could restore me to sanity. And into you I saunter, unlace my shoes, peel off my socks, call you tickler of bare feet. I call you listener to the secrets I whisper to sunflowers. I call you amphitheater for this afternoon's concert by discordant crickets. I know I've forgotten I'm not the only soul to lug around a little sack of trouble. I too can dare to sing in the shadows. You refuse to be seated except by wind or surveyed except by the sun. This is your body and mine, dame's rocket, sweetgrass, and sage. This is your blood and mine, the medicinal dream-inducing milk of dandelions. I lie in you in remembrance of myself. I believe I've forgotten just about everything I knew before I was born. There's a lot of wildlife up in the Adirondacks, and I haven't seen an otter yet, but I really want to. This poem is titled, My Beloved is Like an Otter Again. The otter believes in God, the river almighty, eternal and streaming, a God who judges neither the quick, nor the dead, nor the almost dead. The otter trusts the potluck abundance of takeout, grubs and midges, wisps of crawfish, even a murdered mole on the bank, its guts emptying into soil. He withstands swarms of no-see-ums with equanimity, dives and splashes playfully, turns their harassment into yet another game. He adores the shoals sheltering impromptu amusement parks, tunnels of love in the mud burrows. These days, my beloved is like an otter again, mind and body no longer clouded. He is sleek once more and light, moves through space as if it were milk. Okay, my last poem is titled To the Feral Pigs of Clinton County. There is an onslaught of feral pigs in the country, and with all due respect to the farmers and to the people for whom the feral pigs are a problem, there are alternate points of view. I'm just saying. Clinton County is the county up above ours. I didn't want to write the county where I live in case anyone, and my neighbors actually read this. Okay. To the feral pigs of Clinton County. Root on, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, to anonymous sex with multiple partners. Yes, to tits the color and size of Cuban cigars. Yes, to fields overrun with scores of sucklings. When I say feral pig, I see darting eyes, envision a remorseless nature. But if I say wild boar, I hear golden flugelhorns. Where is it written you were meant to be constrained? Yes to grunts and drooling. Yes to dripping snouts shoveling beetles out of loam. Yes to your nocturnal plunder of apple and pear orchards. Yes to your gorging on red and green Anjou, Empire, and Crispin. Is it not your right, your droit? Are you not descended from imported Burgundian boars? Did they not bust loose? Every aristocrat is a secret anarchist. Yes, to your pissing long and yellow on norms of civic and domestic order. Yes, to your budding over of stone walls mortared by heroes of the early republic. Yes, to your ancestors' refusal to eat bucketed swill left for them in their pens. Root on, ladies and gentlemen. Root on. Thank you.